Hi, I'm Crystal. Let's use up our pattern paper. So I started out today by getting out some scraps and bits of pattern paper. I think this process is easier if you start out with a paper pad, but that's not what I had to work with. So I've got a couple pieces from Christmas sets. That ice cream paper is from a Valentine's set, although I don't know what ice cream has to do with Valentine's Day. I'm not really sure where any of this came from except the green, which is a club scrap left over. And then I have some really old pattern paper from close to my heart, probably 20 years old. And I'm just going to try to make something out of all this. I just picked out coordinating colors, and then I got out my card sketches. So I have linked to multiple resources. Those links are in the description box. But I've got some card sketches that I've printed out and I've cut up. And so I've got them like a deck of cards that I can flip through to find some card sketches. So I just picked out 4 or 5 that appealed to me in the moment that I thought would work with my pattern paper. And I'm just going to try these sketches to see what I can make from them. I don't need to have 400 or 500 card sketches in front of me. I think 4 or 5 is plenty to work with. So I've picked out my card sketches, I've got my color coordinated paper there, and just want to give it a shot and see what I can make out of it. Now the links that I've given, some are these card sketches, some are people who give detailed measurements. So pick the thing that's right for your stash. So I start out by picking out some sketches that seem to use big pieces of paper. I'm going to start with the big pieces of paper, and then I'm going to switch to these sketches that use smaller pieces. So once I've picked out these sketches that use larger pieces of paper, I'm going to go ahead and get out my paper trimmer. And the sketches don't give measurements, so I'm kind of guessing. I'm adapting the measurements to the piece of paper that I have. So like that piece of floral paper is 3 inches wide because it was 6 by 6 paper. That way I get 2 of those blocks. And I'm just kind of guessing and cutting and going along until I've used up the big pieces of paper. Then I'm going to switch to a sketch that uses smaller pieces of paper. And I'm going to trim those little bits of leftovers until they seem to align with the sketches. Then I'm going to go ahead and do some die cut sentiments using some leftover pieces of paper. And then I'm going to use some negative space sentiments in my larger blocks. I think this is the only current product that I'm using. Came as a freebie with a Scrapbook.com order recently, so you may have the same die set. And I am 100% saving the letters that fall out. I may use that in some future projects, so I want to keep those pieces. So after I've die cut some greetings, I'm also going to stamp some greetings. I got out one of my favorite stamp sets that has a multitude of greetings. This set is, gosh, I think this was issued when Stampin' Up! First started doing unmounted stamps. So it is also easily 20 years old, but I love it. It's called Curly Cute. So I've stamped a few greetings, I've die cut a few greetings, and I think once I've got a few sentiments ready to go, we're going to be able to move on to some assembly. But no reason not to use the stamp sets and the die cuts that you have in your stash to make that pattern paper into something useful. So a couple of the negative space greetings I thought needed a little bit more contrast. And you know I love a sparkly gold element on any card. So I've taped off a little space on the card base here, and I'm going to do a little acrylic paint swipe. I do like acrylic paint swipe because it's so quick and easy. And so I'm just going to put a little bit of acrylic paint there onto the page, and then I'm going to use either a used up gift card or some kind of promotional card. I think this is from a pizza place, to spread the acrylic paint out in this space. The whole front of the card would be covered, so I don't really need to stay within the space, but I don't want to waste paint either. So I also did some of the negative space greetings with some glitter paper that is leftover wrapping paper. This is just the tag end of a roll of wrapping paper from the grid. I think it originally came from Hobby Lobby, but that's not enough to wrap anything, but it's handy in the cards. So now that I've assembled the cards, let's see how we did. So here's the sketch that I'm following, and that sunflower paper had already been cut into 4 by 5 1/4 pieces. I guess I started something and didn't finish, but I combined that with some additional pattern paper in the back and my stamped greetings, and have an array of cards there. That was quick and easy. Then we're moving on to the next sketch, the next variety. Sketch number, let's see, 367. And so here we've got a different array of greetings. There's that glittery wrapping paper. Using all of that pattern paper up to make these cards. I think they turned out great. And like I say, I saved the letters that fell out. We'll use those in some future project. So that's a twofer right there. And then moving on to the sketch that used the smaller pieces of paper, sketch 387. And we've got some more cards here with those color coordinated pieces of pattern paper. I like that pink and teal together too. And then moving on to the fourth sketch, sketch 372. Got some negative greetings with no backing. That white was a nice contrast for those. Here's the acrylic paint swipe. And then a couple more that have die cut greetings. And then I had a couple where it didn't really align with one of the sketches, but it aligned with the pattern paper. So, fabulous stack of cards there. I think that was a good day's crafting. It ended up being 22 cards and used up my pile of pattern paper. And my message to you is to say thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope that you have a lovely day. Bye.